Okay, this is a tutorial on how to create a Vosot VO in Premiere. So open up Premiere and then go to New Project. And let's name that Vosot VO in class. Navigate here to location. So using this drop down arrow and select choose location and then go to the file vault and go to our class folder, and under your last name you should have a folder called in-class assignments, and then in there you should have a folder called Premiere. Select Premiere and hit select. This is where we'll save the Premiere project, and then click create. This is standard. I'm just going to skip through this. This is a tutorial. Okay, here I want to be in the window workspace for editing. So I'm going to make sure that's there. And then just to make sure that it is correctly laid out, I'm going to click on reset to save layout. Okay, that's better. All right, I'm going to import my footage. So come up to File, Import, navigate back to the TV Practicum folder, your name, in-class assignment, and this time in your media folder is where you should have all of your footage saved. So I'm just going to click on the entire folder and import. All right, there's one more thing that I want you to import. This is our transition. So go back up to File, Import, and click on this drop down, go back to the TV Practicum folder, and then under GFX there is a folder with a file in it called News Transition. I'm just going to import that entire folder. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I want to lay down that transition in my timeline. So opening this up and dragging it into your timeline. And then I'm going to click on the clip, and I want to move my my video up to video track 2, and I can move my audio down to track, oops, I don't want to do that. I can move this down to track 3 and 4. So let's play this. All right. So what we want to do is this is going to start at the beginning of your SOT. And then as it opens up, I want to see your interview here, your soundbite. So let's find a soundbite. Before we do that, I want to make sure that we're keeping organized in our project panel. So notice how when I dragged this over to my timeline, it created a timeline and it named it the same exact thing. So I'm going to just click on here once and I'm going to rename it to SOT VO. And then I'm going to drag this out of the folder. See, if I hold down my mouse button and drag to the left, I get this little fist icon, and then I can let it go. And so when I close that folder, my sequence is outside of the folder and I can get to it pretty quickly. Always be in the list view. If you click on the icon view, you can see the thumbnail version, but it's much more confusing in this mode. Instead, always be on the list view so you can see everything in a list. Okay, so let's open up our media folder and find your interview. Here's mine. And you will play it through and find about a 12-second, 8 to 12-second soundbite. I'm going to scrub through this. I kind of know where it's at. Somewhere over here is what I want.
Explain it like that. Okay. And then what made you want to come to UAW?
That was a smaller school.
That's what I want. He says at the beginning, so I'm going to try to cut out his Only cut out if it's at the beginning or at the end of the soundbite. If it's in the middle, we just leave them in.
That was.
And to navigate frame by frame, use your back arrow and your front arrow key on the keyboard. And you can go frame by frame. So I think this is where it starts. I'm going to click on my mark in and play it.
That was a smaller school and that had like other programs outside of like the core curriculum of my major. It was closer to my house, and I just liked the environment more than other cities, colleges.
Okay, I think he ends it about right there. So I'm going to click my mark out. If I look over here, I'm at 13 seconds and 28 frames. Rounding that up, it's about 14 seconds. So it's a little over the 12 seconds, but on a case-by-case basis, 14 seconds is okay, but I can look at it just to make sure. So I'm just going to use these 14 seconds, and I'm going to drag his clip down to my timeline. When I let it go, I want it to be on audio track 2 and 3. I'm just going to open this up a little bit and drag so you can see. Right now I have audio track 1 blank, audio track 2 blank, video track 1 blank. I want to drag him to where about a second in on my timeline is when the graphic starts to open up. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to put my cursor up here on the image and then drag down. And notice that I can release anywhere on my timeline, but I want to release it when the video track 1 is highlighted. And I want to be somewhere about right here to start. And I'm going to just look at that. So as it's opening up, we see Diego. Be careful on this. You're going to be about, let's see, if I drag too far in, I'm going to try to find out exactly at what frame we start seeing the transparency. Right there, I can see a little bit of his shirt. So that is at 25 frames. So when you're dragging in your Vosot VO, make sure that you're starting it at 25 frames. And you can tell by, this is where my playhead is at, 25 frames. So I'm going to move him to the left so that he starts right at 25 frames. And he is right there, so I'm going to play that out.
That was a smaller school and that had like other programs outside of like the core curriculum of my major. It was closer to my house, and I just liked the environment more than other cities, colleges.
Okay. To navigate in the timeline, I like to use the plus and minus keys on the keyboard. Use the one that are on top of the keyboard, not the one on the side by the number pad. So I'm going to click on the SOT VO timeline, and I know that it's selected because it has this blue outline. And then I'm going to use the minus key, let's see, minus key to zoom out, and then plus key zooms in. So I want to see a little bit of everything on my timeline. Okay, so this is my SOT VO timeline. I need to add VO. We've got our SOT, and now at the end of the SOT, I need to go through some of these clips, and I'm just going to do this randomly, but you would spend a little bit more time. Select in and out, and then drag it down here. Select another clip. In and out. Always look over here. This will tell you how long the selected clip is. So this is 4 seconds. And then maybe one more. 4 seconds. So I have, if I double click this one, it'll tell me that's about 3 seconds, 4, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have about 11 seconds after him. Probably extend my last one a little bit so that I don't run out of video. Okay, that is my SOT VO. I'll have to cover audio in another tutorial, but let's now go to our VO. So for the VO, we want more B-roll. Ideally, something new that you haven't used on your SOT VO. So I'm going to go back to my media, and hopefully there is something else that I can use of Diego. That's not Diego. maybe this wide shot. Okay, so I'm going to create another sequence, but I'm going to title this sequence VO. So I'm going to drag again from up here, but this time I'm going to go down to this new item and watch what happens. So I'm dragging down to new item and releasing, and it automatically creates my sequence. But again, it's just going to name it the same as my clip name. So if I click on here once, I can rename it VO. Then I want to take it out of this media folder. So I'm going to click on it and drag to the left. And you see that little fist icon. And then it comes out of the folder. And when I close my other two folders, I can see very neatly that I have a VO and a SOT VO sequence. And then here's my other files. All right, so this is what I need on your assignment. I need you to create 2 timelines. One, starting with your SOT transition, opening up to your soundbite, followed by B-roll. About 15 seconds worth of B-roll or so. And then on this one, I want more B-roll, another 15 seconds or so of B-roll. I'm just going to use some random footage here. Drop it down here. This might be a little too much. Ideally, every clip is about 4 seconds long or so. So right now, this is a little too long. This first clip is closer to 10 seconds. So I'm going to cut. I'm going to put my cursor right here and drag to the left. That's 5 seconds. I'm going to make it 4 seconds. About 4 seconds and 2 frames. All right, and then I can drag this one behind it, and then hopefully there's some more. We've already used that one. I don't know if we've used this one. I'll do 4 seconds here. Drag. Yeah, so I've been looking over here. I have 12 seconds, 13 seconds. I'm just gonna drag this a little longer so that we're at about actually 16 seconds. That should be good. It's gonna depend on your script really, but we can start off here and then tweak as necessary. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. This is how you create your SOT VO and your VO in Premiere.